So I'd like to tell you a little bit about Harmony. It's a data management solution. The idea about Harmony is it's a vendor neutral solution. That's a really key word, and you'll see a little bit more about that as we go through the demo. It's a web-based solution, so you can see this is a web page. So I'm going to log in as myself here. If I'm in different environments, in different hospitals, for instance, I can log in at this point to the different organizations and environments. In this one, we've got this demo environment, which is the UKI hospital. So what I've got here is a work list, and Harmony works around the idea of a work list. Medical devices, oftentimes, you'll capture an image and it's in a whole great big patient list. This is around the work list, so very similar to a medical record. The idea is that this work list allows us to see the patients that I need to review their images today. So very important. If I look at this patient here, we've got a patient called Jimmy East. Let's look at Jimmy East first. And this slide here straight away shows you, this screen here straight away shows you the benefits of Harmony. Because what you're looking at is a Topcon product showing a Optos wide field, a Zeiss visual field. We're vendor neutral, and that's really, really key and really, really important. It allows us to show devices from other manufacturers all on the same screen at the same time. Previous to things like Harmony, what you would have is software for this device, software for that device, click, 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 search for patient A, search for patient B. This allows us to get all that data in one place at the same time. Also great with this is with several clicks I can set up hanging protocols, which comes from radiology, where essentially if I want the images to be relayed in a certain way and shown in a certain way, I can do that in various clicks. So at the moment I'm looking at a standard loadout, which is visual fields and wide field here. If I click on this button here, I can choose from some hanging protocols I've already created. I'm going to use this one here. I click apply. It will then apply that protocol. This one's called MedRetin on both eyes. And what we've got here now is we've got the OCT for the left eye and the right eye, along with the report and the reference image here. The key to this is it's not just a still image of the OCT, it's a scrollable OCT. So I can move through that from side to side. And any of these images at any point, I can open up full screen and look at that image full screen. But these are Topcon OCTs, and one of the benefits of Harmony is it's not just Topcon devices, it's vendor neutrality. So if I go and click close and move into a different patient, what I've got in this other patient, Linda Clark, is I've got images from different manufacturers for the same modality. So if I go up here again, I'm going to do another hanging protocol. I'm going to select OCT compare. And what this allows me to do is compare two OCTs from two different manufacturers. So this is a OCT of the disc using a Heidelberg Spectralis and an OCT of the disc using a Topcon Maestro. So again, I can scroll through this image and I can scroll through this image as well. Now they're not exactly the same scan, but from a demo purposes, you understand that I can show both at the same time, and it's in scrollable format. And we also have all the different reports that you might want to get from the Heidelberg device as well to be able to analyze the patient's data. So this is really important, it's a real time saver. Finally, one of the great things that we have is the functionality to be able to launch the device software. So for instance, if I'm using a Topcon OCT and that's the information I want, but I want some extra detail that's only provided by the device software, I've got a little launch button up here where I can launch that. And we also have integrations with AI. So over here, I've got the ability to find a patient. Let's pick an image here, it's a fundus image. It won't work because we've not configured this for the demo, but this button here, I can analyze that image for artificial intelligence. And what that'll do is that, depending on the artificial intelligence algorithm we're using, we'll analyze that image for diabetic retinopathy, AMD. As well as being vendor neutral, we're also neutral when it comes to the AI. So if you're working with a particular AI company or you prefer a particular AI company, we'll integrate with that company. The final key to the whole package of Harmony is that it integrates with your other systems as well. So some of the data that we store in Harmony can also be stored in your medical record. So we can link by way of context launching, launch from Harmony, or I should say launch from your medical record into Harmony, into patient context, but also we can send data the other way. And then finally, if you've got a overall hospital system that manages all your patient demographics, the devices can get that demographic directly from that system via Harmony. So we broker all that data and put the right information in the right place. I think there's definitely a time-saving issue. If I've got all my software in the same place at the same time, all my views of my patients, it's going to be time-saving. I think when you talk about AI capacity, if you can integrate AI quite simply with current systems, current devices, you're going to improve your capacity to triage patients. I think you've got issues definitely when it comes to data integrity. User error is a thing, it's a real thing. So somebody comes along and they're John Smith and somebody types it incorrectly, then that data is going to go against the wrong patient. If that data is coming from the patient management system centrally, they can't type it in wrong. So that's really, really quite a great need. But I think the main one is that having all the information from all your devices in one place at the same time. One final functionality I probably should have mentioned as part of the demonstration is we do have another tool, which is the ability to do referrals. So if you're a glaucoma specialist or a medical retina specialist and you need to refer a patient to another specialist, or let's say you're a cataract specialist and you've got a med retina problem with a patient that's obvious, but you can't deal with it and you want to pass it on to a colleague, you can have referrals between yourself and another colleague, and they don't just see your letter saying, could you see this patient? They see the images you've captured, and they have access to just that patient and just those images. And that built-in referral workflow is very, very powerful. It's a great way of communicating because once they've received that referral, they have the option to do a feedback. So it's great for ophthalmologists referring to each other, but it also can be used between primary and secondary care. So for instance, optometry shops, optic shops can refer patients with disease up into ophthalmologists directly. So a really, really key feature. This is not a product that stands still. There's always forward movement. And I think one of the things that you've got to understand is that data now is more important than it's ever been. And large amounts of data and managing that large amount of data and using it to the best ability. So at the moment, data sets are fractured because they're not on standards. Devices aren't created on standards. So some will be DICOM, some will be JPEG, some will be PDF, some will be JOY or XML. One of the things we do is, where possible, we take the data that you've got and we convert it into a DICOM standard and store it in a DICOM standard. That's powerful for the future because if you want to move to another provider in the future, it's all in that DICOM standard. But also, who's to say that the next device that you buy is from the same manufacturer as the last device? And being able to have that continuity of care is super, super important. But again, going back to the data, this is the kind of solution that as it grows and it changes, as we develop more tools and functionality, that's where you're going to be able to leverage that data to improve patient outcomes. And of course, that's what we're all here for.